Oh, this thing is on. Oh man, hold on a second. I'm not feeling something. This is about to be a little bit of a rant. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to put a rant out there. I don't know what in the hell is going on, what has gotten into people's heads anymore. Just hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm not feeling something. This is about to be a little bit of a rant. I'm sorry, but y'all have to put a rant out there. I don't know. He said it's about to be a little bit. I'm gonna have to rant a little bit. I don't know why people are on this whole gun control thing. I'm confused. So maybe somebody has a plan they can give to me that doesn't involve the whole world going back to just crazy town. This is stupid. We hold on, I'm not ready. Kumbaya. Kumbaya. I just, I'm confused. I am so confused and I'm discombobulated. I might have to rant. I got my call. I'm gonna try to stay calm. I'm gonna try to stay calm. Like, we are in a time where the whole world is losing its damn mind. We invading every damn country. We are rolling out colonialism and slavery everywhere possible. We are giving every child under the age of 14 guns on every continent, anywhere they want to destabilize a country. Getting a lot of people murdered, giving them all the automatic weapons America can make, produce, and buy from other nations, third world, fourth world, Western, and spread them all over the planet to destabilize the entire damn world. And it's just confusing to me. It's confusing to me why anyone thinks that there is logical gun control on a planet with human beings that haven't evolved past having slavery. Like, it's insanity to me. We are supposed to have guns, not in times of peace, perhaps, but this is not a time of peace. There's no peace anywhere out here. And I'm gonna try to keep my voice down. I'm gonna keep my voice down. I'm not upset, but I'm actually offended. To be honest with you, I am, and I'm trying to get off of it, y'all. I was, I was looking at my Giants today. I'm looking at the Book of Giants. I'm trying to talk to my Christian brother. Like, look, y'all, look, dummy, look what the king did. Then kept the Book of Enoch, kept the Book of Giants out to keep you stupid because they don't want you to know. I'm like flipping out this morning because truth is everything. The king doesn't keep truth from you because he wants you closer to God. They didn't take the books out of the Bible because they want you to just have a good relationship of what has the real power in the world. They did it because they want you to stay dumb. That's why the Book of Enoch is not in the Bible. They deleted the scriptures because they want to keep you stupid. The same reason they're deleting the Bill of Rights. They're not deleting all right, they're not deleting the Bill of Rights because they want you to have freedom. That is not how this works. This people, pay attention. We gotta level up here. Department of Education, you know what? You know how people say the public education system is failing? It is not failing. Y'all, that's past tense. The public education system has failed. It's gone. This makes no sense to me. Why in the world would you want to take guns from poor people? I'm not a gun person. I've shot guns. I make sure every woman around me can shoot an assault rifle because you never know, right? The same human brain, the same exact human brain with the same DNA that made slavery exists still today. There is a reason the banks around the world that own all your politicians are always talking gun control. I'm not going to convince you I know the reason. I don't care to know the reason. If they don't want you to have a gun, if they don't want you to have a semi-automatic gun, if they don't want you to have a tank, if they don't want you to have a banana, damn it, you better get a banana tree. This is how this. I'm a slow down because I don't want to yell. I just I'd love to have a little bit of a discussion. I'm not going to be on here for long. I want somebody to give me a reason, a good reason. Why in the world we should have gun control. This is why y'all see the feet behind me? All right, y'all know what those feet, you know who those feet belong to? Do you have any idea that we aren't a second past slavery? We aren't a second past the American Revolution. We aren't a second past the disaster in the genocide in Nanking. Damn it, we got genocide happening right now in Sri Lanka. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why would you want slavery? I look back. Why would you want to allow people to have the possibility of clicking a button and turning slavery back on? Why would you want that? How does that make any damn sense? And I guess right now, for the most part, I'm speaking to the left. The right, I'm talking to you too, because Trump is talking this gun control, and it's not about guns. This is about whatever the banks want that are murdering people all over this world. We should be fighting for the exact opposite. So I don't understand why people are still talking gun control. You have a brain in your head. You know what? Most of the friends I know who are in the NRA, most of the friends I know who actually are historians and they know history, they're in the NRA. And most of the people in the NRA, they got tanks, they got guns, they got bullets, they got bulletproof jackets. And it's not about conspiracy, right? Slavery was not a conspiracy, because I get sick of hearing from people who are on the extreme left saying, oh, it's a conspiracy. They want to come for your guns. You're scared. You think, no, damn it. I remember history. It was yesterday. Literally evolutionary yesterday. The same people who started slavery, the same people who put the Irish kids on the boats for America. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Because we need to clarify a few things. I don't think people understand how this works. So all of my relatives, all of them, the Africans and the Irish, were poor. They all came from slavery or indentured servitude. Why? Because they didn't have guns. They didn't, and it's not even about guns. It's about sword. Hold on, I'm gonna change my back. I get upset, and it's only gonna be a minute because I'm not trying to be on here for long. Why did they get walked into slavery from Africa? Because they didn't have guns. They didn't have swords. They didn't equate what the 0.01% have. Why? And so then the people out there, they talk about, they're debating whether or not there was Irish slavery. Let me explain something to you. All right. When they went and they just basically washed over Ireland, and they killed the mothers and the fathers, and you had kids running around there. They were running around the streets of Britain. They had a law passed, and it was called the kidnapping law. This is what the king did. He got so sick of kids running on the street, little dirty Irish kids, and some of them were English too, that he decided to put them all on boats and send them to America. All right. He said, well, that's just indentured servitude. That's not slavery. Let me ask you a question. What do you think the life expectancy of a 10-year-old girl, Irish girl, on a boat full of vagabonds heading for America, what do you think her life expectancy was? Do you think she actually made it to America? Or did she just get thrown over the boat? There was Irish slavery. Why? Because if you were signed up for indentured servitude as a child in Britain or Ireland, sent to America to be an indentured servant for 10 years, you know the majority of them didn't make it there to begin with. And second, do you think they made it to 10 years? If they didn't make it to 10 years, they died in slavery. That was not indentured servitude. So this is nothing about race. This is about common damn sense, right? We have a Bill of Rights. I'm going to try to bring it down a little bit. We have a Bill of Rights, right? If one of those rights is infringible, they're all infringible. You don't have to own a gun. You don't have to be for guns. This is about whatever the banks who run these politicians want, the same banks who started slavery, because y'all know it's the same people. It's the same damn people. And no, dummy, it's not white people. No, dummy, it's not white men. It's a 0.01% that always builds up these onion layers of people who require slavery or forced labor to prop up their lifestyles. He said, well, it was a boat, but it was mostly white men that put us on the boats. Guess what? It's black people today that are in support of forced labor in Africa. Now what? We got to come together on some real basic principles, right? Some real basic principles of self-determination. Leave other people alone. And if you don't have the ability to protest this 0.01% when they show up at your door, you will be walked back into slavery. And it boggles my mind that anybody with a history of slavery, a recent history, everybody came from some slaves somewhere, but people of recent slave history changing their profile pictures to anti-gun. What is wrong with us? What, are we crazy? I mean, this is insanity to me. It's not, and so you know what the beauty of having fully automatic guns in everybody's house in America? You know what the benefit of that is? You'll never need them. This is how this works. It's called a deterrent. When the majority of people, like the majority of countries, have nukes, nobody shoots a nuke. When the majority of people have fully automatic weapons and my neighbors have a tank, they won't do anything. And it's not about fighting drones and, oh, but you can't fight no drones and you can't fight the military. This is not about fighting. This is about a deterrent. If the cost of actually coming and trying to take rights from people is too high, they won't do it. That is why we need fully automatic weapons in everybody's home. I know I'm derelict of duty. I ain't got one. I ain't got one. Don't send no damn Homeland Security to my house. I don't have one. I should have one, but I don't. But if everybody has one, they won't come for them. They will leave you alone. We live in a time right now where you have millions of people in slavery in the United States, people who followed the Constitution, who were peaceful. And why do they come and write? Why do they come for you? Why do they write laws that are completely, logically, obviously unconstitutional? Because you can't do a damn thing about it. The cost to come get you is free. They know you won't do anything. They know you don't have any guns. They know you're fighting for gun control. So this is why your cousins are in prison. This is why your nephews are in prison. This is why your kids are in prison, who were peaceful, who never harmed a fly. It's because you keep agreeing with these gun nuts. You keep agreeing with the people who want to go after the gun nuts. I love my gun nuts. I want them to have all the bullets, bombs, and everything they can have. Why? They've never hurt a damn fly. Look up the Redneck Rebellion. These are not your enemies. These are other poor people that the only reason we got a resemblance of a constitution left, the only reason we got a few rights left in the Bill of Rights is because those people have guns. Those people understand this. Those people know that the brains in the people who ran the slave trade, they're still here today. So I could be crazy, and I hope I am. I'm not a gun guy. I hope I am. And I hope that we don't need guns and swords and all. Oh, let me show you something. Look at this. Do you know who this is? Look at this person right here. I don't know if you know who that is. You know why she ain't smiling either. Do you know why she not smiling? Do you know why she had a saying, she had a quote. Hopefully y'all know who Harriet Tubman is. What was her quote? She said, I freed, well, she said something like, I freed thousands of slaves, and I could have freed thousands of more if they only knew they were slaves. If they only knew. And this is why do I call all of my friends and loved one and family slaves? Why do every day I remind them that they're picking cotton, that they live on a plantation? Because they don't know they're slaves. They have no idea that they are in a forced labor system. They don't call it slavery anymore, but you can't walk away from this. Why can't you walk away from this? Because they've orchestrated a society full of multi-layers of onions of people of all races, religions, creeds, from all backgrounds who need slaves. They don't whip them themselves, but they whip them. And I get, and so I honestly, I get offended. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I wanted to look at some aliens today. I wanted to look at some ancient archaeology and have some fun, but I get offended. I do. It's a personal thing for me. I think about all the women who were raped every night by all the field hands, by the master and everybody else, all the damn time, going back in slavery, on both sides of my family, whether it's African or Irish. Why are we still talking about doing any damn thing the elite want? If you have common sense in your brain, common sense, you will know to always go the opposite direction of what your rulers want. You will know to always do the opposite of what your kings and lords say. Always do the opposite of what your master says. And oh man, you know what? Well, who's it? Malcolm X who said, what did he say? He says something to the degree of, why people on the plantation support the plantation, why they support the master. Because on the slave plantation, they teach people to speak about the masters like it was them. You know, if the master gets sick, oh, what's wrong, boss? We sick. You know, when something happens, oh, what's wrong, boss? Is the plantation, we's not doing good? We's got to pick more cotton. Is we not feeling good? And it's the house Negro. And unfortunately, we got a lot of house Caucasians and Negroes and Hispanics and Asians all over this country because they don't know what a house slave is. It's somebody that's so propped up, so high up on the plantation, high up on the porch, pouring lemonade that they agree with the master. It's a good thing. You can't have no slaves have fully automatic weapons, master. They might turn them on us. We don't want them shooting us. This is not a gun message. It's a common damn sense message. If it wasn't gun, thank you. If it wasn't guns, it's swords. If the master says you shouldn't have swords, the first thing you should do is go buy a sword. If the pharmaceutical industry says we need to make bananas illegal, you better go get you some banana plants. It's just how it works. If the pesticide companies say pesticide is safe, you need to stop eating pesticides and eat organic. Do the exact opposite of what the kings and lords and the businesses who own them say. It's common sense. It's not common. No, it's not common because the house slaves don't get it. That's why I'm upset this morning. I'm not upset. Hold on. I'm not upset. I'm offended. I actually am. I'm offended. You know, and I know it's a guilt trip. I'm not really offended, but it's a guilt trip. I'm going to use it. I'm going to go with it. It's a guilt trip. I'm offended. Because if somebody gets offended, if you say something about pro-gun, they get offended. But you don't care about the babies? Hold on, let me go back. Let me switch my picture. Do you care about these babies? Do you? Do you care anything about these babies? Right? We are on a slave ship, y'all. This is America. This is the world. We are on a slave ship. I care more. And so I'm offended, damn it. I'm offended that all of these people who gave me all the DNA I have from Ireland to Africa, who lived through slavery, indentured servitude, rape, destruction, oppression, I'm offended you would even consider the idea of controlling guns. Damn it, I'm offended. I'm angry. I'm sensitivity trained. You aren't being sensitive to my feelings and my damn emotions. I love them people. I ain't never met them in my life. I don't know who they are. But they gave me my DNA and I'm offended, damn it. Are you crazy? Like, okay, so I think about it like this. Think about it like, yes, Brother Glenn, they're wannabes. And that's what a house slave is. So think about it. Let's think about it another way. Why do people want guns? All right, I'm going to try to bring it down. I get a little discombobulated. Why do people want guns? They want guns because they're oppressed. Somebody did something bad to them, or they're afraid of somebody coming to do something bad to them. These are not bad people. Now, mind you, you could say they're scared, and okay, fine, if that's how you want to put it. But people under governments who respect human rights, they don't get guns. People under governments who disrespect human rights, who disrespect human life, who walk people into prisons all damn day, who didn't do anything to hurt anybody, those are the people who want guns. The people who are oppressed. Why would you turn against oppressed people and cheer anything the 0.01% the people who oppress them say. How is that logical in any stretch of anybody's imagination? How does that make sense? How do you have gun control that makes sense? Like, think about it another way. Think about it like this way. Okay. So somebody asked me a question. What do you think about gun control for kids under 21? Do they give guns to kids under 21 in Africa? Do the same people you're going to, do they get, nah, that's 21's too high. It's too high. Because when you're 19 and 20, you might have some damn sense. You almost kind of have a frontal lobe. Let's say under 14. If we tried to pass a law, if we tried to pass a bill that made it illegal and punishable by death to give a gun to arm a child under the age of 14, the entire United States Congress would vote no on that bill. Why? Because they do it every day. Stop turning on poor people against what the very, very wealthy elites want to do to poor people. They need to give them up first. Somebody mentioned revolution. I'm not a violent guy. I am not for a violent revolution. In fact, to be honest with you, that's why we need gun control. That's why we need no gun control. We need a Second Amendment so it never comes to revolution. Congress will never write a law to send people to your house to take your kids to prison if they're fearful the cost will go up. If they're fearful it'll be too costly, that people will die for unconstitutional laws, they won't have a war on drugs. They have a war on drugs because the cost is low. We take our children and we let them, put them in chains because white lives don't matter, black lives don't matter, Asian lives don't matter, Hispanic lives don't, damn sure Puerto Rican lives don't matter. Y'all can look at Puerto Rico right now. People still don't have power. None of these lives matter because there's nothing you can do about it. They can press a button tomorrow and turn slavery on, and there's nobody who can oppose them. But you know what? Who won't go? Who's going to go first? It won't be the people who have guns. Promise you that. You know, if you don't want a violent revolution in your country, you should be pro Second Amendment. Why? Because when people have it, they leave those people alone. It's a cost factor. I mean, think about it like this. If they actually wrote a just ridiculously unconstitutional law, they made caffeine, I got my coffee, they made caffeine illegal. Let's say they made caffeine that just made it illegal. I ain't giving up my caffeine. And if I got a gun in my house, it's going to have to go down. What happens when after a while the police realize this is a mistake? What happens after a while when their neighbors and their friends and their family and somebody comes and takes their mama to prison? Mama gets shot, going to prison. The police say, we ain't doing this no more. Not only is this unconstitutional, and we know it was unconstitutional to take away people's right to drink caffeine, but you're hurting us. And then what does the DHS do? We ain't doing this no more because my cousin, my friend, my family, because the police, the FBI, all these people, they're us. They weigh the cost of this. Why have we not gone into North Korea yet? Because they know the cost of going to North Korea because they have nukes. That's why Kim Jong-un, some dumb ill, is not stupid. He's not stupid as we are. He's not cheering for nuke control. He's trying to get as many nukes as he can because he knows that's how he protects his people. People, this is how we protect each other. This is how we prevent a violent revolution. You get your gun, you keep your gun, and you don't cheer gun control. Why? Mainly because the people who have the guns, they have never shot anybody. Ever. Most of them never committed a crime. How do you know? Because they got a gun. They do background checks. These are peaceful people that you're assaulting. Most of the members of the NRA, they're ex-police. They're ex-military. They're vet. All right, I'm going to calm down. I don't, I don't understand how people think. I really don't. I don't understand how people think. We don't need speech control. That's what they have going. Why? You don't have freedom of speech in America because you're complicit with it. Why? I don't want to hear people yelling when I'm at the rally. You know, oh, speech control is a good thing. Within 1,000 feet of the politician, they're not allowed to speak. How is that a good thing ever? You know, when they silence the opposition, it's because they're up to something bad. You know? Oh my God. So listen, somebody said, Crystal said, I better get some guns. You know what? First of all, number one, if I had guns, I'd never say it on Facebook. I'd never do that. I'm not stupid. Number two, I'm okay. I have a lot of friends. I am A-okay. I know how community and neighbors supposed to work. You're not coming for my coffee, damn it. You're not coming. You go, oh no, you're not coming. And I got cameras there every damn. It'll be live on the internet. You come for me and my coffee. You ain't coming for my coffee. And that's another thing. Y'all need to get some cameras at your houses. This is the time we live in. We do not live in times of peace. We live in times of immense war all over the planet. Why are they coming after the Bill of Rights? They've been coming after the Bill of Rights because they know how to destabilize America. They destabilize America and they turn neighbor on neighbor when they start taking rights from you that you don't exercise, but your neighbor does. That's why if you don't drink coffee, you'd be like, you know, I don't know. If they come for the rights to drink coffee, I don't care. I don't drink coffee. But they come for your neighbor. Now your neighbor pissed off at you because you got behind that politician who was okay with that. Now he doesn't like you. You don't like him. And it's just stupid. They're destabilizing the country because the people who run the United States of America are destabilizing the world. Do you pay attention at all? Do you get out much? Do you watch any international news? Do you have any national friends? The whole world is trying to get guns because their countries have been destabilized by America, by the banks, the same people who are telling you that, oh, we need to have some sensible gun control. They take the guns from you and they give them to people, children in other countries, because that's how they make money. They gain power by destabilizing nations. They gain power in America by destabilizing America. The difference is they can't, in public, funnel all the guns on the street in America. They tried. They did the war on drugs, and that's why they keep it going, because it brings in guns on the black market, which they sold to another country anyway, which is why they won't get rid of the war on drugs. But they come for your rights because they know it's emotional and it turns you against your neighbor because you don't stand up for his rights. And once they destabilize America, they gain power. How do they gain power? Because half of the country wants this and the other half wants that, which means none of us dummies get anything we want. And they can slowly take one by one every single right out of the Bill of Rights. A straight fact is this. That's why I like my slavery background. Let me go on over here. A reality is they could write an amendment right now and turn slavery back on for everybody, I don't know, who drinks coffee. Everybody with brown eyes. You're automatically your slaves. And there is nothing the American people can do to stop it. Nothing. If you had brown eyes, you would be a slave. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. And does it sound crazy? This brain right here, this one right here. See this one right here? I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. I'll try to look at this brain is the same brain that turned on slavery. If you give this brain in my head under this brown skin the same power the 0.01% had when they went to Africa and they worked out a deal with the Arabs to get the slave trade going, and they got some people mid-level on the plantation, high up on the porch, to go over to Africa and pick the slaves up in a boat. This brain doesn't do that because I wasn't raised to do that. I didn't grow up in an environment to do that. But the same exact genetics in the human brain that was okay with all the atrocities that we did is still in the... Until we evolve out of the ability to put people in bondage, you can't agree to take any rights from the poor. The poor need more rights. They don't need less rights. They need more. All right. Oh, man, I'm going to look at some comments and I'm going to get off of here. I didn't mean to do this, and I'm sorry if I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not. It's just there are house slave mentalities that we gotta get past. If you are in America, and I'm gonna be flat out honest. If you are in America, you probably, there's a very good chance you got genetics in you. No matter what, you can have blonde hair and blue eyes. There is a good chance you have African DNA in your body. Everybody in this country has history into slavery. Why? Because the masters at the time, the 0.01% masters, they slept with all the slaves. This affects everybody. We are all on the same team, people. All on the same team. You can't ever stand up against anybody else's rights. It doesn't have to do with guns. It has to do with common sense and knowing what team you are on. You are of the 99%. And it's okay to disagree with them. But they won't give up their guns until they're under a government that leaves them alone. And after a few generations of being under a government that respects the Constitution, that actually respects other sovereign nations' rights to exist and not murder their people and take away their minerals and their oil, until then, the poor need swords. They do. They need a lot of swords, and they need the exact same swords the kings have. It's the kings and the lords that don't need any swords, people. This is not a redneck, down in a bunker, ZZ Top issue. The people who I expect to get it, the people who I really expect to understand this are the liberals. You are supposed to be for liberty. That is in your name. So this idea that you backing the lords and the kings taking guns from more poor people is the most ridiculous idea you have ever come up with. Ever. You want to talk about pharmaceutical control for the mass shootings? I'm all for it. You want to talk about fixing the communities, the poor communities where all of these kids who do the shootings come from? I'm all for it. You want to talk about taking down the unconstitutional laws so people have freedom so they feel like they don't need guns? I'm all for that. But anytime you talk about taking any right from any American, you are on the wrong team. All right. I'm done. I'm not yelling at you. I love you, man, woman. I'm not mad at you. I'm offended. I'm offended. We need to stand up for each other, right? Like I have a lot of international friends. They want freedom too. They can't have freedom because we don't own our government. Big banks own our government. The same big banks who put your people in bondage are the same big banks who are behind gun control. Let it go. Change your icon. I don't want to see I don't want to see that profile picture with the anti-X, semi-assault rifle. I don't want to see that, man. I woke up, I wanted to talk about aliens, and I see everybody talking about, oh, it's a common sense gun control. It's not common sense. I'm not going to get mad again. I'm not going to, all right. I don't understand. I don't understand. The education system has failed us, y'all. It has. If every historian think about it like this. Think about the people who get together, the people who get together and they have the Civil War reenactment. If all of these serious history buffs all have guns and they're all members of the NRA, it's because they know the history of this country is extremely violent. They know the history of this country is based in violence. They understand that every empire that's ever existed, and this is what we are imperial, we are an imperial power. I can't even speak, I'm so upset. We are an empire. And an empire has to murder a lot of people. They have to put a lot of people in chains to stay on top. The same anti-Aztec and Incan racism, the lies they tell you that, oh, the Incas were just monsters. They murdered people and poured their bloods all over the pyramids, all over South America. That's what America does all over the world because big banks own our military. They own everything. And if you ever want to get to a place where you don't want to see an American revolution, then you need to make sure that we stand behind each other's rights. When there is a deterrent in this country that would make it too costly to continue to take away Americans' constitutional rights, to continue invading the Bill of Rights, that's when they'll back up off of it. That's when black lives will matter. That's when white lives will matter. That's when Asian lives will matter. That's when African lives will matter. That's when Canadian lives will matter. But until then, no poor life matters, because we're too stupid to realize there's only been one fight in the history of the human race. It's the haves versus the have-nots, and the have-nots are so stupid, so ignorant in a loving way, that they always get behind the slavers' narratives. All right, that's all I got to say, y'all. I'm done. Thank you for joining. I had to get that out. Now I get a good day. Sometimes you just got to just get off your heart. You got to get it off your heart. Slavery is a bad thing, people. Let's not let that happen again. All right. Anyway, love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.